Welcome everybody to The World is a Mess, and I just want to steampunk it. This is episode 34, August 25th, 2021, and I'm your host, Steampunk StarRaisin, here in North Hollywood, California. And I'm with my co-host, Daniel Bertizon, in Bellwood, Ontario, Canada. How's it going, Daniel?
I'm good. How you doing, Steampunk?
I'm hanging in there. I'm getting ready for Dragoncon. I'm going to be heading out on Monday.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Because my flight leaves early Tuesday morning on the 31st, but because it leaves at 10:40 a.m. and you need to be there like 3 hours before to be on the safe side so that you can board, I'm just going to go late the night before and just stay up all night at the airport, or maybe take a short nap at the airport and then board the flight early in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's basically what I've been up to. Let's see. And so, God, why is this loading so slow? Come on, speed it up. Anyway, that's the problem when you over rely on the internet for everything. Sometimes it craps out on you.
Mhm.
So they just released the new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which looked awesome. It looked interesting. Doctor Strange looked really weird, but there's a theory about that. Based on some of my sources, the rumor is that they had not intended to release the trailer yet because it may delay the movie till next year, because of the rising deaths in COVID, and the movies have been really lackluster this year. In a COVID universe, movie theaters are not doing that well. Movies are not doing that well. It's a little bit bleak in the movie industry right now. And from what I heard is that they're waiting to see how well Shang-Chi will do to determine whether to delay Spider-Man and delay Venom 2. But
Yeah, but if they delay them, they lose more money. They lose money every time they delay them, right?
it depends. They may lose more money if they don't delay it, because a lot of people are afraid right now to go to movie theaters, because here in the United States, you have about 1,000 people a day dying from COVID because people have been irresponsible and not wearing masks, not getting vaccinated, even though the vaccine is literally available to everybody. I don't really know what the future will bring, because this virus could continue to mutate into something that is far worse, that maybe vaccines won't work on. And that's because people allow the virus to continue to mutate. They've refused to get the vaccine. Majority of people in Midwestern states and southern states are not getting the vaccine for whatever reason. And you had a bunch of idiots going around with with an anti-mask mandate, like the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, trying to do a mandate to mandate no mask. And that's just really dumb in a pandemic. And we're now up to, let's see, we're up to the same level of people that died. Let's see. We're up to the same level. Well, actually, we surpassed the Civil War.
Oh.
In the United States, we have 631,000 people that have died. Yesterday, there was 1,116 people that died. So Yeah, so we've surpassed the Civil War. The American Civil War, it's been estimated 625,000 people died in 4 years. So we've already beat that number in the United States with COVID deaths. And it looks like that we'll probably match or even maybe surpass the Spanish flu pandemic of 1918. So and so this is negatively impacting movie theaters. Some people are scared to go out to movie theaters. They can't have movie theaters at full capacity. Movies are not doing as well as they used to. So I don't know if things will ever return to normal. So, but yeah, there's rumors that Venom and Spider-Man may get delayed. They're waiting to see how well Shang-Chi does. And if Shang-Chi doesn't do very well, then they may delay it to next year, or they may do it on streaming services. So, but I really think the future of movies is streaming anyway. So what's on your mind, Daniel? What was the news you wanted to tell me before we got?
First of all, can I just get a pop out and pop back in again? Something's wrong with my camera.
Okay.
1 second, I'll be back.
Well, we're waiting for Daniel to come back. Hopefully it doesn't take him too long. And oops, man, I'm a little bit clumsy all over myself. But yeah, my girlfriend just gave me breaking news. Ron Jeremy has formally been indicted in LA on more than 30 counts of sexual assault. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. Okay. Daniel's coming back. Hello, Daniel. Sound check. Can you hear me?
My camera is still screwed up.
That's okay. We can just keep talking.
So, anyways.
Oh, I see your camera.
Yeah. So, okay.
Your video feed's coming in just fine.
Oh, it is? Because on my end, it looks like it's all pixelated.
Your video feed's coming in just fine. Let's move on.
Anyways, okay. So, yeah, I saw like the trailer was just so good, and we're finally going into the multiverse. Remember in Far From Home, they kind of referenced the multiverse because Mysterio said he was from the multiverse, from Earth 616 or something.
Well, yeah, but he was lying.
Yeah, and everybody thought this was going to be a multiverse movie, right? And then when he sent Peter through that holographic thing, right, we saw a bunch of different Spider-Men piling on top of our Spider-Man. So we thought, ooh, maybe he's going through the multiverse. I thought so at the time, but I'm like, no, he's not. And I guess they were just him hinting for the next movie, right?
Yeah.
So,
but what was the news you wanted to tell me before?
Also, remember the Sony universe? It used to be called the Sony Pictures Universe of Marvel Characters, SPUMC. Now they changed it because I guess people didn't like it. And they changed it, and they're now calling it the SSU, which is like the separate Spider-Man universe.
Well, how is that going to work? Because they already got Spider-Man in the MCU movies.
Yeah, I don't know how. What I'm afraid of is that Sony is going to be dicks, and what they're going to do, they don't want to share money with Marvel. They want the money all for themselves. So what they do?
Their movie industry and their business as a whole has been in decline for like the last 10 years. They sold off their entire PC division. Most of their movies haven't done that well in recent years, with the exception of Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, because what I'm afraid of is they're going to be a bunch of dicks. They want all the money for themselves. They don't want to share the money. So what do? They create their own universe, their own separate universe, and then when Secret Wars comes around, they're going to reset everything, and Spider-Man and all of his characters are going to move to a Sonyverse, and they're going to leave the MCU completely. So no Spider-Man, no nothing of anything related to that in the MCU from then on forward. And I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Well, yeah, they're the last big holdout. I mean, like, that's why like X-Men and Fantastic Four never made an appearance in the MCU yet, because up until recently it was owned by Fox Entertainment. But once Fox or News Corp sold that division, Marvel got the rights back to Fantastic Four and X-Men. So,
I mean,
it'll hurt to take away Spider-Man, but yeah, I hear that Venom doesn't even take place in the same universe as the MCU.
No, it takes place in the new SSU, this separate Spider-Man universe.
So if it's a separate Spider-Man universe, do you know, are they going to have a different actor playing Spider-Man, or is it going to be the same actor?
Well, I'm thinking maybe they're going to use another version of Tom Holland, but then I'm hearing that it might be a Tobey Maguire universe, or it might be the Andrew Garfield universe. Yeah.
Sounds confusing.
But you know what? I don't think that Venom can exist in the Tobey Maguire universe because he already had a Venom, right?
Well, they already had Venom in Spider-Man 3, and it was just terribly done. It was that dude from the 70s show, whatever his name is. And he didn't really, I just couldn't take him seriously as Venom. He's too much of a comic actor.
Yeah.
But, so, I don't know. The movie industry is pretty messed up right now. And then you got Scarlett Johansson suing Disney. And so that's making things kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea why she's suing Disney. I mean, I get it. She wants more money. She says they breached her contract because she's supposed to get a certain percentage of the ticket sales, and the movie hadn't done that well in the box office. And then it was, because of the lawsuit, it was revealed that the Disney Plus streaming of Black Widow grossed like $125 million, which brings the worldwide gross of Black Widow up to about 500 million, which means it made money. It just did significantly less than expected. And it was also revealed that Scarlett Johansson was paid $20 million. So I don't know, just she comes off as a little bit entitled, overly entitled. Well, I'll actually just say it. She just comes off sometimes as like just very entitled, like most Hollywood celebrities are, because man, 20 million, that, even if you were to like buy a $2 million or $3 million mansion and buy a Lamborghini, you would still have like, and even if you paid your taxes on it, you would still have like 6 million left over. So that's more than enough money to live off of for the rest of your life, especially.
Exactly. I mean, she made I heard last year she made 120 million last year on something. I don't know what, but she made 120 million last year, and now she's making more millions. Who knows how many millions she has in her bank account already.
Well, I think this could destroy her career, because Disney is definitely not going to want to hire her back if she's costing them money in legal fees. And I mean, outside of Avengers, she hasn't really been that big of a box office draw anyway. Most of her movies haven't done that well, or they're either they're critically panned. I know like Lucy was critically panned, although from what I understand, the movie did well and grossed money. But yeah, that was a number of years ago, and that was the exception. But Scarlett Johansson has starred in a lot of bombs, like Ghost of a Shell or whatever that movie. was like
Yeah.
a $200 million bomb. It did not make its production costs back. And there was accusations of whitewashing and racism. I saw the movie. It was okay. It was very mediocre. It wasn't terribly bad, but it wasn't super good either. I think it could be up to conjecture whether the movie was racist or not, because she's just basically in another robot body. But whatever. The story was really weak, and it was just whatever. That's kind of how I felt about that movie. But yeah, she started a lot of box office bombs, and really her biggest strong suit is being in the Avengers movies. And now that her contract is up and she's not going to be doing any more Marvel movies, and they've killed off her character, I don't really see Disney/Marvel bringing her back.
Yeah, whatever little chance she had being brought back by the multiverse is gone now.
Yeah, sadly.
I liked her. I liked her, as Natasha Romanoff. I really wanted her to come back, and also, you know what? Did you see the new What If episode?
I have not. Episode 3?
Yeah, it's really good.
What is that covering? Don't spoil it for me, but give me the basic premise without spoiling it.
Well, it's another parallel universe. It's not connected to the other universe that we saw. It's another parallel universes, and something really shocking happens, right? And I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was like, oh shit, that happened. Oh shit, that happened. Oh shit, that happened. Like that is like, oh my god, just like it's amazing. It was just really.
I'll have to check it out. I completely forgot that was coming out today. I've just been busy with so much stuff. Partly getting ready for Dragoncon, the film festival. It's kept me really busy. I got to do flyers and a trailer. I got a lot of work to do this weekend and this week, and it'll be worth it because Dragoncon's coming up next week. But for those of you who follow me, if you want to meet me up at Dragoncon, I'm going to be at Dragoncon. Maybe I might do a short podcast advertising like what room I'm going to be in at Dragoncon. If the few of the fans that follow me here want to follow me, and if you follow me on, subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok. I'm going to be handing out Lego packs. These are Japanese Lego packs. They're not Legos. They're called paddock blocks, but they're manufactured in Japan. And I will be giving these out. These have instructions to build a little Lego figure. Like this one's a dinosaur. This one's a lion. I have one that's like a tank and a helicopter. And I got another one that's like a transformer. And I also will be giving away 4 gigabyte memory sticks, but you have to subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Twitter, and follow me on Instagram, and follow me on TikTok. And if you're willing to do all that, I will give you some free merch. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I'll be handing out flyers as well, and I'll be doing press interviews because I want to be part of the press pool at Dragoncon, or the press corps, or whatever you want to call it. So I'll be working press.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I'm going to try to interview that one actress from Smallville that played Supergirl. I'm going to try to interview Felicia Day, Chris Effelson. I'm going to try to interview him. But it's kind of hit or miss when it comes to celebrities. It really depends on how swamped they are at the autograph booth and whether they're under contract not to do any interviews, or whether they're open-minded enough to do it. You know, if I can fit in some time with them to get it done. A lot of celebrities will just say, well, you need to have arranged this ahead of time through my agent, or you need to have so many subscribers on YouTube before it's worth me even taking my time to interview you. Or I've had celebrities say, well, you need to pay me for an interview, and I don't pay for interviews. I'm too poor for that. But yeah, so we got 10 minutes left.
So what do you
Any
think?
other things? Go ahead.
What do you think about the Sony Spider-Man universe, the SSU? Do you think it's a good title?
I think it could be good, but it'll probably be bad. It could be good if they do it interesting and make it like a parallel universe that's isolated from the regular Marvel MCU. But knowing Sony, they'll probably mess it up somehow.
Yeah, then they're going to run back to the MCU. But what I'm afraid of is they're going to use this whole multiverse explainer to take all the characters away and put them into their separate Sony Spider-Man universe. But then again, they don't have to, right? Because it's the multiverse, right? They don't have to. They can have their versions in the new SSU and the other versions in the MCU. I mean, it's the multiverse. You don't have to do that. You don't have to take away characters.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's what way they plan to go. Who knows? I know that they're in financial trouble in recent years and they need a lot of money, and Spider-Man's really their only ticket.
We were talking about this. Like, they sold the rights to stream their products to Netflix for $1 billion, right? And they're just sitting on that money. They're just sitting on it.
Well, when it comes to a large company like Sony, I guess $1 billion can go pretty quickly because you're having to reinvest in manufacturing. They still manufacture TVs and electronics. They're out of the PC business, and they sold off Sony Vegas to Magic. They're out of pretty much the PC software business for the most part. Out of video production business, but they still make video cameras, TVs, and other electronics. So it can, logistics of maintaining manufacturing can be very expensive, can be in the billions of dollars. So it's possible that, and also most big corporations tend to be top heavy. And what do I mean by top heavy? They got these overly paid and underworked executives where they're getting paid $20 million a year in stock options. And, as long as they do a short sell their stock, they're good. They got enough money to last the rest of their life. They don't have to really care whether the company that they're an executive on the board or their CEO, they don't really have to care if that company does well in the long term. It's all about the stock price for the next quarter so they can make money in the short term. So it's like, show me the money. I don't care if I bankrupt the company in the process because I got my platinum parachute, my golden platinum parachute. And it's a real problem because, they don't really have the moral or legal responsibility because we've allowed these companies become deregulated in such ways where they can get away with that. To me, it is theft by deception. If you're the CEO of the company and all you're doing is plundering its resources, and then you're not putting back into the company, and then you're like, oh, bye, I got my 20 million in stock options. I sold my stock. I'm good. I'm leaving who cares if the company goes bankrupt? That's very systemically corrupt. And it is a problem in the labor force today where you have management, the majority of management, overpaid, underworked, and the majority of workers underpaid and overworked, and sometimes worked to death.
I remember working in retail. Oh my God, those people have no mercy. They have no mercy. They don't care if you have a learning disability and you can't keep up, or maybe you just can't. Maybe you can't lift a certain thing because you're too small or too weak, and they don't give a shit. They will work you to the bone. And if you can't do it, you're fired. Goodbye.
What retail did you work at?
Oh, I worked at McDonald's. Well, I don't think that's retail, but okay, I worked at McDonald's. That was my first job. And then I worked at Zehrs. That's retail. It's like a grocery store. And then I worked at Tim Hortons. And then I worked at Angel's Diner. And I worked at a factory one time. It was a really good job. It was like I just had to put things in boxes. That was the best
Factory
job.
for what? What was the name?
It was on car parts.
Oh, car parts. Okay.
And I was putting aluminum arms in boxes in this big metal box, and it was like the best job. It paid $10 an hour, and it was like the best job. And then they just let me go because I was a temp. And I'm like, well, I thought if I would do this job, they would hire me. But no, you're a temp, so no, just like whatever. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So and then I worked at Glad Garbage Bag Factory. That was my last job. Glad garbage bags?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good job. And yeah, so it was good, but you know what? It's true that they workers today are overpaid underpaid and overworked, right? And it just sucks.
Yeah, and senior management executives, they're overpaid and underworked. Like
Yeah,
they have no
definitely.
concern for the workers or the company. They don't care about it long term as long as they get their short term pay, get their short term loot, and they loot the company as much as possible. They don't really care. They don't really care if the company goes bankrupt as long as they get their stock options that next quarter. And they could be CEO for 6 months and they were like, oh, I got my 20 million in stock options and I cashed it all. And oh yeah, the company's going bankrupt. Who cares? I got enough money to last the rest of my life. And that is severely overpaid because what they maybe need to do, but they're not going to be willing to do, they need to do stock options for all employees on top of their pay, but they're not willing to do that. It's going to take a massive workers' strike to be able to bring civility back to the corporate workplace. But yeah, because these companies, man, it's like they're getting away with murder. They literally work people to death. You had the Frito-Lay factory in, I think, Nebraska, where they were working people to death, and some people died of heat stroke because they refused to turn the air conditioner on. They were forcing the people to work like 70 days straight without a single day off. They implemented new rules where they didn't have to pay overtime. I mean, this is not right. You should work to live, not live to work. Because if you live to work, then you're basically a slave. And that's what, Frito-Lay wants you to do. But yeah.
That goes into what I was talking about last night with you. Like,
But all these companies in America now treat people badly. So I don't know if a boycott will be enough. I think you need to do a boycott of work, and you need to show these companies, hey, we're not willing to work for you if you're not willing to give us 2 days off a week. You're not willing to pay overtime. You're not willing to pay full retirement and medical benefits. You're not willing to pay sick leave. You're not willing to pay pregnant sick leave. You're not willing to do, or medical, that would be more like a medical leave. You're not willing to treat people like human beings. Instead, you want to treat them as disposable robots. Okay, we need to do a massive strike, and we need to make sure that that you can't make a profit unless you have the worker behind you. But it's going to take, global mobilization of the worker to unite. And right now it's very fractured. And these companies have done a really good job of turning people against each other. But yeah, we've got to speak truth to corporate power before it destroys us all, because it will. They're destroying the environment. They're destroying labor rights. They're working people to death where they, you can't even, most jobs nowadays don't even pay enough to afford a one-bedroom apartment. So, or even to qualify for a one-bedroom apartment, because you got to have 3 times the income what you pay in rent. So we're down to 1 minute. Any last thoughts or words before I end the podcast in 1 minute? What?
This is exactly what I was talking about last night. Like, okay, my dad worked his ass off all of his life from 14, and now he's working, and he's 74, going to 75, and he's still working to support his family. and he has to work really heavy jobs. And then you got people like PewDiePie or Charlie.
Well, that's a false correlation, but we're out of time. We'll talk more about that next time, maybe when I get back from Dragoncon. But thank you for joining me, Daniel. This is Steampunk StarRaisin out. This is The World is a Mess, and I just want to Steampunk It. Episode, let's see, episode 34. Episode 34, August 25th, 2021. And I've been your host, Steampunk StarRaisin from North Hollywood, California, and I'm here with and Daniel Bertizan has been my co-host from Bellwood, Ontario, Canada. So thank you very much. You have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years. I will.
Bye.